Hi, I'm Melanie Freeman, and I'm here with CR World, and I am here with Todd Marks. He is a very handsome Tom Hanks lookalike, but he's the real deal. Hey, Todd.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Now, I have heard that you have a nickname, and it's Todd Marijuana Marks. Is that true?
I have been called that before on some robocalls that went throughout the county when I ran in the Republican primary.
It didn't sound like a very nice nickname.
And don't forget they had a .com after it, so that's down now. But yeah, that was one of the tactics that was used against me in the primary.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I know that you're pro-cannabis, and we appreciate that in our world. Tell me why you're pro-cannabis.
Well, and you know what's interesting about that? That trick backfired because I got almost as much of the percentage of vote as the referendum did. So, you know. But, you know, what my experience with cannabis is really on the medical side. I've had friends who have gone through chemotherapy, and now my brother, unfortunately, he's at Moffitt as we speak. The only thing that helps people after radiation, and in his case and in my friend's case, is medical cannabis to help them to be able to eat and sleep and rest and get the help that they need. Or when my dad was passing away, he finally had agreed to consider it. We didn't get through the red tape or even to do it. It's the day he died he considered it, but they gave him one sleeping pill and it killed him. And so I believe that there's other ways to get through the body and the system in your body that won't be taxed with pharmaceutical drugs that can hurt people and kill people. And it's something that people need to consider and change the way that they think. And that's why tonight's movie, I think, will go a long way in helping people get educated about the benefits of medical cannabis. Because people are thinking Shaggy and Scooby in the back of a Scooby van eating Scooby snacks. And that's not what it's about. And it's not about liberal or conservative. It's about compassion for people and getting people the medical benefits that they need.
Beautifully said, Todd. I know that you're a Republican. How is that working for you, being pro-cannabis?
It's not a traditional Republican issue per se. And again, I came to know more about it, through personal stories. I mean, frankly, I'll be honest with you, the first time it was on the ballot, I didn't support it because I didn't understand it. And I thought it was, a mechanism to get a different result. But now, having learned about it and having been involved in helping people in the industry, I've learned a lot about the medical benefits of it and also the business side of it and the pro-jobs and pro-growth. And there's areas in Florida that have experienced economic downturn that, frankly, the revenues generated, I think it's going to reach $1 billion this year already, with just a fraction of the patients that it's expected in Florida. And the amount of jobs that have been created and the economic development, and really in areas that suffered a downturn, like in the citrus areas. And so I think that's some of the benefits. So as a Republican, I'm all about personal freedom, individual responsibility, free markets, and all these things, right? And reduced regulations in government and less taxes and things that can help people, businesses and families succeed. So when we're talking about an industry that's bringing help to people on a medical side, but it's also creating jobs and bringing revenue back to depressed areas. Think about Detroit when the auto industry went down. Some of the infused capital into those areas to revitalize those areas was important, and I think it's the same way in some of the counties throughout the state of Florida.
That is a great answer, and yes, I feel that too. Now, I know that you have a relationship with the sheriff. Tell us about that.
Well, let me say one more thing. There's still a big misunderstanding amongst people, not just Republicans, but Republicans, Democrats, Independents, about the benefits of medical cannabis. And, even yesterday I took a call and from a very conservative individual in the faith-based community who, by the end of the call, said, hey, listen, I feel myself being personally convinced and persuaded on the medical issue, and I appreciate that. But more so, they want to know their concerns about my involvement in the industry. And really, that came about through my law firm, where I had clients that were approaching me about the subject. They were coming about it from a different perspective. I learned so much about it, and I thought about a better way to do it, and I partnered up with a group called Cresco Labs, which is a national-based company, but for the state application for an MMTC license in Florida, right? So through that process, I was able to tour the plant, figure out, meet with the doctors, talk to doctors about the upside and the benefits, and also, about the risk and the educational awareness programs that are taken and by big players in the community, in the cannabis community. And so it's been an overall learning and growing experience. And so with respect to the sheriff, I believe, as a county commissioner, my job is to work with the sheriff to keep our county safe, make sure he has the resources he needs to keep us safe. Part of that is making sure that bad guys aren't doing bad things, right? But it's also part of making sure that people who have obtained medical cards and obtained cannabis legally, the laws are applied consistently with respect to the Florida Constitution and things like that. But I know the sheriff is very compassionate also in terms of people who need medical help can get the medical help. And he's actually done some great things in the county to essentially create an adult diversion program similar to what teenagers have on a first offense, for example, so that people aren't going to jail. We're not cluttering up the jails, paying all that money, having sheriffs go to court, cluttering up the court system. I mean, I was in court this morning, and it's like one after the other, and and there was those were folks in the city. But I do believe there are some common sense approaches, like that, and the sheriff is very good at understanding, the needs of keeping us safe, and he's also appreciative of the medical cannabis community.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Todd, I thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the movie.
Oh, it's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful. And thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I'm Melanie Freeman. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for tuning in to CannaBiz, brought to you by CR World. To keep up with the latest in CBD and cannabis-related business, be sure to subscribe to our show.